Malik and I definitely overlap some, and I'm referencing some of the same things that he was talking about. And since Anthony quoted half of the things I was going to say, I guess I'll be quoting myself. If we could have the first PowerPoint image.
Just be a second.
Seems that it's kind of a running theme in the last couple of years that I've decided that I need to talk about my family. So we thought I'd give some reference to one of my uncles in it. Alright. When I was 13, I fell in love with a pair of white vinyl Chelsea boots. My Uncle Donald, who was my mother's brother and the youngest of 11 children, wore them. Chocolate handsome and stylish in his white-collared shirts and flared double-knit pants, toothpick at a rakish angle between his lips, Donald was everything. His house was a player's dream, orange silk couch with a built-in stereo system, flanked by 2 enormous gold Buddha head lamps, a black lacquered coffee table that could be raised or lowered depending on whether it was time for a game of spades or Chinese food, and wall-to-wall, two-tone, brown shag carpeting that no shoes had ever touched, and which was meticulously raked every time he left the apartment. Styling in his maroon Buick Riviera, no one would ever know that his day job was at the Lamont Briggs Post Office on North Capitol Street, Washington, D.C., and like many black people of his generation, he really hadn't been anywhere, but he seemed to embody worldliness. But for all his fascinating qualities, my obsession with Uncle Donald coalesced around his white vinyl boots. It was 1974, and white vinyl boots were both the future and the past. They were the cool, hygienic, extraterrestrial whiteness of space, in movies like Logan's Run or 2001: A Space Odyssey, and they harked back to outfits worn by doo-wop groups. Can I have the next image? Sonny and Cher, the next image. And Little Richard, the next image. Age 13 was when everything changed for me. Nixon had resigned, the troops were coming home from Vietnam, and my nascent mustache had finally started to fill in. It was also the age where I realized that I was not going to be quite like the other boys, and I needed a new paradigm for how to be this person that I was becoming. I found a new paradigm in a pair of boots. White vinyl was the new frontier of masculinity. It signaled that the wearer was unconcerned with trivialities such as gender and sexuality, that he had reached higher ground. In my adolescent mind, those were the boots that we would wear when we, as a people, marched into the promised land, and I had to have a pair. Can we have the next image, please? My mother, already worried about my Proustian tendencies, was reluctant to indulge this fashion trajectory until I persuaded her that if Uncle Donald, masculine, happily married Uncle Donald, had a pair of white vinyl boots, then surely it was okay for me to get them too. When I finally got a pair and tried them on at home in front of the hall closet mirror, they looked ridiculous, as if I was wearing galoshes bought in some fisherman's supply store. Just 3 outings in those boots, with double takes from adults on the street and ridicule from my classmates, convinced me to retire them to the back of my closet, eventually donating them to the needy at a clothing drive at our local church. Then the next image. It took me years to even attempt wearing anything so fashion forward. And by that time, from my vantage point in the Forest Projects, South Bronx, USA, I could see the winds of change were blowing, and what they were blowing in was a whole new version of Black masculinity of Sugar Hill Gang. Can I have the next image? Run DMC and Grandmaster Flash, who are not above a bit of glam. Can I have the next image, please? But whose lyrics and body language left no room for gender ambiguity or play. Donald, at this point solidly middle-aged and starting to gray around the temples, had long retired his knits and white vinyl for leisure suits and what he called kicks, comfortable rubber-soled shoes with canvas uppers you could buy at Kmart. Donald died a couple of years ago, worn out from living in the bottle. And whatever utopian world those white vinyl boots promised me in 1974, I'm still waiting for. I still remember those white vinyl boots. I still remember the future. The future is still behind us. Now, can we have the clip from Spaceways the Place? I think it's going to be chapter 8, where Sun Ra talks to the youth in the community center. That's it. But there should be some sound.
Check this nigga out. Must you admit, that's a bad chicks. Sorry, nigga. Ambassador from the intergalactic regions of the Council of Outer Space. Why are your shoes so big?
Are those moon shoes? How do we know you for real? Yeah, how do we know you ain't somebody else telegraph? She's some old hippie or something. Who are you? I mean, you don't know that. She's for real.
You might have something going for him.
Yeah, so what kind of shoes that you got on your feet? Yeah, walk around all these funny clothes. I know, I thought to take off running. I see somebody walk down the street coming, talking all that mess. We talking about going to outer space. I mean,
How did you know I'm real?
yeah.
I'm not real. I'm just like you. You don't exist in this society. If you did, your people wouldn't be seeking equal rights. You're not real. If you were, you'd have some status among the nations of the world. So we're both myths. I do not come to you as reality.